Hi, everybody. It's me, Sam. And for this week's lecture, I want to do something a little different. I want to talk about the final essay because this is a big essay, and it's not just about earning points for the class and all this kind of thing. The reason that we assign these essays is because we want you to become an expert in the material. That's what a research paper is all about. It's really about giving you the opportunity to go out on your own and research something, again, on your own, that you're interested in, finding out as much as you can about it, and then formulating your own opinion about these things. Now, if you can write about these topics on your own, again, then you have discovered just a little bit of mastery in some subject area. So that's the whole point of this. Now, before I start, the point of this, again, is mastery. I want you to be an expert in something. The point is not to take a whole bunch of quotes from another writer and smush them into a paper. If you do that, you'll absolutely fail this essay. I want you to be an expert. Keep that in mind as you move forward. That's what I'm grading on. That's what I'm looking for. I want you to have an idea, to have an opinion, to have knowledge of this topic. All right? So let's go down. The details. Again, focus, focus, focus. Details. Nuts and bolts. The essay is due Thursday of Unit 11 at 11:59. It's not due Sunday of Unit 11. If you hand it in on Sunday, you'll be very disappointed because I won't accept it. So make sure that you get it in on Thursday by midnight. Okay, it's 5 to 7 pages in length. You will discuss an artist, an architect, or a musician. That could be a sculptor, a painter, a builder, a trumpeter, a trombonist, a Bruce Springsteen, a photographer, a writer, philosopher, so on and so forth. It requires 5 credible outside sources. You'll have to use APA, and this means that you'll need a reference list and you'll need in-text citations. And I'll go over that again in a minute. You'll use a 12-point standard font with standard margins. You'll need a strong thesis statement, and I want you to keep in mind this is not a biography. Okay, so let's go over these nuts and bolts in more detail. 5 to 7 pages is not 4.5 pages, and it's not 8 pages. One thing that you need to learn from this assignment and from every assignment is how to just hit the mark, how to take the guidelines of any assignment and hit them. I'm not impressed with 12 pages. That's not what the assignment calls for. The assignment calls for 5 to 7 pages, so you need to get it within that window. Okay, that's a huge part of the assignment. Sometimes I'll get essays where I can tell that the student has done a lot of work and it's great, but it's 12 pages. Well, guess what? 12 pages wasn't the assignment. Now, sometimes I find that, especially when you're researching an artist, the life of a big artist, that it's actually kind of difficult to fit all of that information within 7 pages. So that's a challenge to you. More than 5 pages, less than 7 pages. Okay, moving on. You choose an artist or an architect or something like that. Now, you've already chosen your subject. So how's that going? Please reach out to me if you need some help. I am here and I want to be a resource for you every step of the way. So use me. Use me, abuse me. Well, don't abuse me, just use me. Okay, so again, the whole point of this is to learn as much as you can about this figure. And then I recommend doing some free writing without the research in front of you. So read. Learn. Take notes. I'll do all of this stuff. And then clear all of it away. Sit in front of an empty computer or a blank page and just write. Just write. What do you know about this person? What do you think about this person? Do you have opinions about this person? What are they? What are the opinions? What fascinates you about this artist or architect or whoever? Why? Why does it fascinate you about this stuff? Now, the idea of writing without anything in front of you is that now you're drawing from your own knowledge. You're drawing from your own brain, right? And that's the point of this. We want you to be an expert. I want you to totally impress your friends with your knowledge of this artist or architect. And that means you should be able to say something, to have something really interesting to say about this person without referring to your notes, right? Okay, so do some free writing. I think this is a great time to do free writing on this, if you haven't already. Even if you've already started your research and you've already started to draft an essay, why not put all that aside and do this free writing? You may discover something new. You may get someplace you didn't know you were going to. Okay, 5 credible sources. I don't know why I put this picture in. I just think it's funny. It's an album of songs from Murphy Brown. Weird. Anyway, you need 5 credible sources. Now, again, this is not meant to be a cut and paste of other writers' works. I don't care about other writers. I care about your writing. I want to read what you have to say. I don't care what somebody else has to say about this. All I want to know is what you have to say. I want to know your ideas and your opinions and your reactions, and that's it. I want your discussion. I don't want somebody else's discussion. Now, along those lines, I want you to draw from your sources, but I want you to only use facts that are necessary to prove your points. Okay, we'll talk about that again in a little bit. And if you have questions about any of this, let me know. Now, as a general rule, 10% quoted material max. Now, this will go through SafeAssign, which means it will tell me exactly how much quoted material is in your essay. If it's over 10%, I'm a little bit suspicious of it. If it's over 20%, you start really seeing a hit in your grade. If it's over 50%, generally you'll receive a 0. Okay? That means that more than half of the work doesn't belong to you. More than half of this writing is not yours if it's 50% or more quoted material. So keep the quotations to a bare minimum. This is your discussion, not somebody else's. Okay, APA. Now, APA, briefly, that just means you need to have in-text citations and a reference list. Now, APA, there's a very specific way to... that looks weird, doesn't it? There's a very specific way to do APA. And it's... there, that's better, APA. If you don't know how to do APA, you need to ask a librarian or you need to go to the Writing Center. This is your responsibility. If you're having a lot of trouble and you need a place to get started, shoot me an email, give me a text, or let's chat on Google Chat or otherwise. Let's get this worked out, because at best, if you mess up the APA, then your APA references are done incorrectly and you get a major hit in your grade. At worst, you've committed plagiarism and you get a 0 and you have to get reported. So make sure this is all good, okay? Moving on, a strong thesis statement. This is an important one. I'm going to try and fly through this, but if you need a link to this information, please shoot me an email and I'll send you a link. A strong thesis statement has a topic, an opinion, and a purpose. All right? Now, here's some examples. Now, this is from the New Hampshire Institute of Art. I looked it up today, and this is a really great guide. So if you want this link, please email me and I'll send it to you. It's pretty awesome. So the first, a thesis statement is an assertion or claim. It's not a statement of fact or an observation, okay? So the example is, there was a lot of religious art in the 16th century. Well, duh, right? The thesis statement about this, though, that there was a lot of religious art in the 16th century, yes, that's just a fact. It's not a thesis. The thesis, then, would be the Catholic Church was a major patron of the 16th century, thus driving the subject matter to be religious in nature. Now, with this one, I know exactly what that essay is going to be about, and I'm really looking forward to it, okay? Next, a thesis statement takes a stand rather than just announcing a subject. The announcement is, the thesis of this paper is the difficulty being a woman artist through time. Well, there you're just announcing what it's about. So here's the thesis. There are less women artists throughout Western history because they did not have the same educational opportunities. Ching! That's a great one. Okay, next, a thesis is the main idea, not the title. It must be a complete sentence that explains in some detail what you expect to write about. Okay, so here's the title. Pop Art and the Anti-War Movement. It's not even a sentence, right? It's just a title. So here's the thesis statement. The pop art of the 1960s reacted visually to the anti-war sentiments of the United States. Ching! That's a good one. Okay, next, a thesis statement is narrow and specific, rather than broad and vague. If the thesis statement is sufficiently narrow, it can be fully supported. Now, I want you to pay special attention to this because you only have 5 to 7 pages to accomplish your essay. So a vague one is Norman Rockwell's illustrations were popular. Super vague. Specific, Norman Rockwell's illustrations reflected cultural concerns of the day. Great. Okay, and finally, a thesis statement has one main point rather than several main points. More than one point may be too difficult for the reader to understand and the writer to support. Okay, so the examples: Alfred Stieglitz was instrumental in developing an appreciation of photography as fine art and was also key in promoting Georgia O'Keeffe's career. Here, what on earth is this essay going to be about? I have no idea. I mean, where are you taking all of this information? I don't know. It's confusing. So, one main point, Alfred Stieglitz was instrumental in developing an appreciation of photography as fine art. Got it? Okay. So lastly, I want you to focus. Focus, focus, focus. Be specific. Formulate an opinion and defend that opinion. Illustrate your points and do nothing more than that. All right? If your point is that Rockwell's work reflected the cultural norms of the day, then I don't care what his dad did for a living. You got it? So many of these essays start out with a really successful thesis statement and then move on next to Michelangelo was born in such and such year and his father was a sculptor. Who cares? It doesn't matter if your essay is not about his father or about his life in general. If you have a very specific point, this is not going to be a biography. It's going to be a discussion that supports that specific point. Now keep in mind, this is the book that you would write if you're writing a biography on any of these artists. It would be a huge, massive work, right? So focus, focus, focus. And as always, if you have questions, please email me. Let's do this together. Okay, good luck.